and welcome
Was
everyone
that, when was that?
to our budget meeting for
Saturday?
May. And Michael, you want to walk us through our report here?
Good evening, everybody. All right, if you'll turn to your budget packet.
How much did you spend for that new podium? Not 19,000, right?
No, it's not. All right, our first page, number one, is our sales tax comparison. So the sales tax that we received in February for, this would be for the month of December. So this kind of shows us how we did in December with all of the things that we planned for. Y'all getting feedback? Because I'm getting a lot of feedback. Yeah, okay. A lot of the things that we did in December. So our sales tax was $263,000, which was $30,000 over the previous year. So it's a really good month for us. So we can see those activities paid off. Our sales tax is holding pretty strong as far as March and April. What we got, April went down just a little bit, but March is still holding strong. So our sales tax is still doing good. We're at 6.52 through the end of February, over what we were in 2024. On the next page is our sales tax in comparison over the last 3 years. And so you can kind of see the charts. We're going up. We're having a good upper year in sales tax. On page 3, this is our sales and use tax distribution. It was collected by the merchants in 12 of 24. It was returned to remitted to the state by the merchants in January 25, and it came back to us in February of 25. The total amount that went into our general fund was $192,509. Streets received $46,000, parks $49,000, and our bond payment was $25,000. If you look over to the right, we're starting to track this for our annual purpose to kind of see. So far this year, we've got $384,000 has gone into the general fund, $92,000 has gone to streets, $98,000 to parks, and $50,000 on the bond. So it's 2 payments on the bond. The next page is just the kind of the receipt from the state, showing us the amount of the deposit and the fees. And then the next page, on page 5, is also the receipt from the state that shows the different percentages of taxes that we received and how much they were. On page 6 of 42, this is the sales tax collected report that we had done, and David, you'd asked us to kind of delve in a little bit more. So normally we just looked at food and lodging and miscellaneous, so we went back and pulled out some of the bigger categories. So we have contractors in there, manufacturing, wholesale, retailers, online shopping, mail order, informational services. That's everything from computers to newspapers, and then food and beverage, lodging, and miscellaneous. So out of the $32,000 or $322,000 for the month, you can kind of see where each category fell there.
So this, just a quick question. This shows that retailers are doing significantly better than food and beverage and lodging, correct?
Yes. If you look at the next page, there's a chart there, and this kind of shows you this is where everybody's at year to date. Excuse me. So you'll see miscellaneous is 18%, lodging is 18%, food and beverage is 14, almost 15%, and then retailers are at 33%.
But there's no comparison to last year, they're just this year. Right?
Yeah, we've just done this year's, I'm sorry. Yeah.
So that one line is all the mail order stuff?
Yes, that's everything that we could identify that would be electronic shopping or mail order.
Cool, thanks.
Yes. Okay. All right, and like I said, page 7 is just the bar chart, excuse me, to go along with that to kind of show. Then your next few pages is just the detail behind that. Goes through page, I think it's 16, is all the detail behind those taxes. On page 17, you have our revenue and expenditure report. This is through February 28 of 2025, 16.16% of our fiscal year. As you can see, we're showing a loss, even with our capital infusions back. But a lot of that is, there's some timing issues that kind of hit us here that caused that. One is you had 3 payrolls in January, so your payrolls are a little bit higher than they normally would be for a 2 payroll month. The water billing, there was a timing issue with the water billing, so we didn't actually show a water billing for February because the date they ran it, it pushed it into the 1st of March. So for March, we'll have 2 water billings. So those kind of clear out that deficit that we have. We have made some capital infusions where we bought some capital things, and we'll go over that on the capital sheet. Are there any questions on this?
No.
I do want to point out a few things because I was looking at I was seeing that, in our general fund, we're kind of, in our 01, we're, it looks like we've lost some money. So I kind of wanted to look at revenue to make sure that revenue was coming in. The only thing that we're really seeing a tremendous fall in, but it's not a huge, big thing to think about right now because we're thinking it's going to make it up, is property taxes. At this time last year, we collected about $50,000 in property taxes. So far, we've only collected like $19,000, and March wasn't much better. It was like only $2,000 more. So the property taxes are slow coming in. Our sales tax is up. If you look at it over this time last year, we collected $357. This year, we've collected $384. Permits is way up. This time last year, we had less than $5,000. Now we've got 12.6 for building permits.
Sorry, Michael, what page are you on?
I'm on page 19. Page 19. This is our revenue,
Okay.
some of our revenue streams.
Thank you.
Permits and building is 4061, about a quarter of the way down. Our parking revenue, which is about 3/4 of the way down, it's up from, it was 13,000 same time last year. It's 16,000 this year. So just a couple of things there that are going. And another thing I wanted to point out in here, we've got a couple of things that you're going to see, line items where we've received income that we have zero amount in the budget. The reason why are these are specifically related to something. Like if you'll go to the bottom of this page on 19, you'll see Tyson Fire recovery revenues, where the fire department went and helped with the Tyson fire. It destroyed a lot of our equipment. So he submitted a information sheet to the Tysons. They paid us $103,000 towards repurchasing that equipment. So you'll see a revenue line that we put for that coming in, and we've also put an expense line. Yeah, Terry?
On the property taxes, a reason for that maybe, and I haven't looked, but it'd be pretty easy to see, is probably the real estate sales are probably down a little bit, because that's where most of that comes from. Whenever the property sell, then they pay those, at closing time, those taxes get caught up.
Yeah.
After the statements come out in March, so that's just now.
Prorated taxes, right?
Well, no, they don't. No, you don't collect the prorated taxes. You collect the taxes for last year, and we pay a year behind.
Right.
And that's what's collected, and those they pay those at closing. So that just probably indicates that the market has been a little
down.
soft.
Yeah.
And this is also still 2 months behind, so this is really December.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the end of the year stuff.
Yeah. But you're going to see this for the Tysons, and you're also going to see some FEMA in the water department because Simon was able to apply for some FEMA money, and we've been kind of getting some of that. So you'll also see that we've got those added in. So when we do our mid-year budget adjustments, we'll adjust those. Is there any other questions about the detail? Back up.
No.
Okay. If you will go to page 39 of 42, this is our capital expenditures that we have spent so far. as of the end of February, what we had purchased is we had purchased the 2 new life packs for the heart monitors for the ambulances, and he spent $126,000 on those. Under the fire hoses and equipment, he spent about $18,000, and for the thermal drone, it cost them a little bit more than what they thought it was going to be. It came in at $10,300 instead of $9,500. So we'll see where he comes out on his other items to see if we need to make an adjustment there. And then we've also, Smitty ordered his tram. This is an exciting thing for us to know. He ordered his tram for $90,000. We paid for a little over half of it at $49,000. We'll pay the balance of it when it comes out. Due to the tariffs that have been imposed, the price has now gone up to $110,000. So it's going to cost us $20,000 more for this tram due to the tariffs. So they've already notified him of that. So it's going to cost us more. So we've spent about $204,000 in our capital expenditures. On the next page, on 40, we have our comparative bank balances. You'll kind of see that it shows that it went up. That's kind of a misleading thing. And the reason why is if you'll look up there about 5 or 6 counts down, you'll see the clearing bank. We had about $1 million in the clearing account. Those are checks that we've written. They just haven't cleared yet. So that usually has a balance of $200,000 or $300,000 in it. So $1 million is kind of high for it. You'll also see that you'll start to see some double accounts here because we have some accounts at CS Bank, and we also have been opening some accounts at Equity Bank. We are moving some of our banking to Equity. One, they have a very robust treasury platform that we can operate off of easier. So we're moving some of those day-to-day functions where we write the checks and stuff like that. We're going to move some of that, and then we're going to leave some of it at CS Bank, also to kind of diversify our assets so that we don't have everything in one bank. So, and right now, all of our operating accounts are at CS Bank. So we're going to start moving some of those over. And they gave us a really good deal, so we're real happy with that. The next page is our comparative bank balance chart. Just kind of compare how it looked last year and the trend. And then the last page, there's not a lot of new information on it. It's as of the end of February. Our next payment on our bond is an interest payment, which will be due in April of '25. Our solar lease payment, we're making that as every month we make that payment. And then we will update some of our CDs in the next for March, because we had 3 that matured, so we moved some of those around. So we'll have some updates on those of what the current rates are and stuff. But this is end of February. So does anybody have any questions? Yes, sir.
Let me find it here. One moment. It's page 33 and 34.
Okay.
And so these expenses are for December of this last year. Is that
No,
correct?
these expenses are as of the end of February.
Okay, at
Yep.
the end of February.
Yep. Your first
Yeah.
column.
Sales taxes for December. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Okay. All right, then, so I'm curious, it looks like the wages for the water and sewer is up quite a bit.
And the reason is because we had a 3 payroll month in January. So each one of those has basically an extra payroll in there because of the way we pay every 2 weeks. You have 2 months out of the year that we have 3 payrolls, and it just happened that it fell in January of this year. So that's, at this point, you haven't just, like at the end of February, it's not just 4 payrolls, it's 5. So that causes it to go up. Then you have your early pay adjustments that were done in January, your 5% pay raises that were given. So that's going to affect it also. So that's going to cause your taxes to go up. It's going to cause your retirement contributions. That can change quite dramatically because you can go from having 2 people to having 4, because we do, that all changes in January. So sometimes that will affect it.
So there's never less than 2 pay periods
Right.
in a month, and 2 months. there's
2 months
3.
out of the year, we have 3, because there's 26 pay periods. So you have 2 months that you'll have a 3 pay period, and they're just random how they fall. It's just depending on, they change every year. So the first one just happened to fall in January this time.
Okay.
And if you want to really kind of know, if you go to police and fire, which are our biggest payrolls, you'll really notice it there.
Is there, I guess there's also wage increases and all that pick up some of that difference?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, all right. Good on that. I guess that's all I had.
Michael, I do have one question. On page 33, count 4385, are these penalties that are charged to residents for late fees? Is that what that is?
Yes.
For what?
It can be for late fees. It can be for a return check, for an NSF check. There shut-off fees go in there, just different type of fees that are associated with the water account. So, but they are customer-driven.
Does that seem like a lot to you?
No, it's, you've got NSF fees, you got late fees, you got shut-off fees. I think that's, I don't think Connect fees wouldn't go in there. It would just be the penalties. Yeah.
So when you say shut-off fees, do you mean when we shut off water because someone can't afford it, we also charge them a shut-off fee?
Yes, because we have to send a person out there to actually physically shut off their water. And, it's not always that they can't pay their water, it's that they didn't pay their water, or they didn't, it's not. So we, if they haven't, or a circumstance to where there was a hardship or something like that, they can contact us and talk to us about that. And we can look at waiving that fee and putting it back on the account, which we do from time to time. But that's, we have to send a person physically out there to go and do those shutoffs. We have a shutoff list that comes out. I think our shutoff day is the 25th. So we give them until the 26th. We check all the payments that come in on the 26th, the morning of the 26th, through the lockbox, through online, all of that. And then later on in the day, in the 26th, we kind of even give them some time to come in on the 26th. And then later on the 26th, we send somebody out to shut those off. If it happens to fall on a Friday, we wait until Monday. We don't shut anybody off on Friday because we don't want them to be with water without the weekend. So we do watch our calendar and take all that kind of stuff into consideration.
I guess I'm just kind of concerned that if someone can't pay their water, and let's say a shut-off comes at 3 months, or after the due date?
After the due date. You have the due date on the 15th. They have to pay their water by the 15th, and if they don't pay it by the 25th, they get it on the 15th, they get a shut-off notice that goes out. And then if it isn't paid by the 25th, then it's shut off on the 26th.
Same month.
Yes, same month.
Okay.
I do appreciate it seems like the bill's coming out earlier in the month,
Yes.
where it used to be out 10th, 12th. I think a lot of people like myself, we pay all our bills on the first of the month. We get checks, whatever, and then that bill wouldn't show up for a week and a half, 2 weeks later. And if you just forgot about it,
Well, and so what was happening was we didn't have the automatic read meters, and so they would have to go out and physically read the meters, and so they would start reading the meters, and it would take them the 2 weeks from the 15th to the 30th to actually read the meters, and by the time they got that data back in, by the time we tried to go through it and, look at, high usages and things like that, trying to find the problems, then that would delay the bills even further from going out. And so they didn't have a lot of time to work the bills, and then if there was any problems, you were really delayed. So now, now that we've got the majority of everybody on the automatic reads, they can go out on the 16th and read, and within a couple hours, he's got 90-something% of the town done. And so then they just have to go out and read those few that they haven't got changed over yet. Well, then that way they can put all the data into BS&A, they can run their reports, they can see where their high usages are, they can go back and adjust those bills, get them all fixed, and get them out on time. And so then they're going out on time. So that's been the big time saver, is being able to get those read so fast.
I appreciate that very much.
Yep.
So there isn't a second notice if they haven't paid their bill?
Yes. Yeah. If we don't receive the payment on the 15th, they send out a notice on the 16th, a shut-off notice.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Michael,
Yes, sir.
when is it that the meter is removed for non-payment?
That is, we shut the meter off, and there's no more water coming through there. So if it goes about 60 to 90 days of being shut off, then we go ahead and tell them to pull the meter. The problem that we have is a lot of people know how to turn their meter back on. So they would go out and turn their meter back on. And so then when the next bill comes out, they still haven't paid. And if we find out that that's what they're doing, we'll go pull the meter. We won't wait the 60 or 90 days because we just go pull the meter, because we can't keep them from, that's the only way you can keep the water from going without them paying
You can't
the
put a
bill.
lock on the,
Wouldn't that
Well,
be theft?
some of them you can. I think
Some
there are
can.
some you can, but some of them are positioned so funny that they can't get a lock on them. Because
I
I
see.
know we've had that with, I can think of one that we had with that it was in such a weird position that they couldn't get a lock on it. So they went out and pulled the meter. Then when they put the new meter in, they fixed it to where we could actually lock that meter off if we needed to. So,
okay.
but yeah. Yes, ma'am?
I just said, isn't that theft?
Yes,
Stealing
yes.
water?
And we have a pretty hefty fee if we catch them doing that. So we have a pretty hefty fee that we charge them for
But on
that.
the flip side, it's sad that if somebody can't pay their bill for whatever reasons,
Well, okay, so it's been the first 20 years of my career in lending and collecting. So there is a big difference between who can pay and who just doesn't want to pay. And you will weed out those circumstances and situations. And we have had people who have gone a couple of months turning their meter back on, and by the time we go out and pull it, they're $500 or $600 in on their water bill, and they come in and pay. Whenever you pull the meter, they'll come in and pay. So it is sometimes it is a need and a necessity, and we work with those people, and then sometimes it's just they don't want to pay. So
I have another question.
yes, ma'am.
I'm not an accountant, so help me out here.
Okay.
So for the water, we've had an increase, right?
Had a what?
We've had an increase.
Yes, ma'am.
In rates.
Yes,
When
ma'am.
will that start showing?
It already does. One of the reasons why you're not seeing it here is because if you'll go to line on page 33, under the water department, I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4 down, you'll see water sales, and we budgeted $1.2 million. So there's only $86,000 in water sales. That's a timing issue. So that's our January sales. Our February sales aren't in there because they hit like March 3rd is when they actually got the bill out. So that's another $80-something thousand. So really, we would be at almost 160, 170, a little over $170,000. At the same time, we were at 145 last year. So we're about 30,000 more than where we were same time last year. And if y'all would like me to do a month-to-month comparison on that from last year, I can. Yes, sir.
And then you said that
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
salaries were high because it was a 3
3 payroll
pay
month.
period.
Yes.
Okay.
Because we
Makes
had
sense.
3 Fridays in January, that were our pay times. And now we won't have another 3 until it's like August or September. You
Yeah,
have
it's like
one
twice a
ear-
year.
Yeah, you have one early in the year and one late, so, yes, sir.
Are we going to get caught up?
On-
With February here? I mean, this is,
What, are we going to get caught up?
yeah.
Oh, with on the, it'll
Yeah,
catch
so
up
we're
on March.
working on the most current one of these
Yes.
instead of
Yes.
2 months behind.
Well, this is, I mean, this is our numbers for February, and then we put those together in March and we give them to you in April. And so that's how we always do it.
It is?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were a little, I thought we were just the month previous.
No, like what we do is we close the month in February, then we have March to make all of our adjustments, then I give it to you the first council in
Okay.
April, and we go over it the second council in April.
If that's the way it's always been.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
On 33, there's 2 lines for water sales. What is that GKSSD?
Grassy Knob. That's Grassy Knob. We sell water to Grassy Knob,
Right,
so we keep it separate from our,
I understand.
so we can collect it, yeah.
I understand.
So we keep it separate. It's Grassy Knob, I can't remember what the SSD, something district. I can't remember what the other S's I mean.
Is Grassy Knob the only one that we sell?
Yes, yeah. And the water goes directly to them from Carol Boone. So when we get our bill from Carol Boone, it has how much was our usage and how much we sold, how much went to them, and then we bill them off of that. So, yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks. Anything else?
Any other questions?
All right. And if you ever have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me or call me.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bub.
All right, we will adjourn. It's 5:43, and we will reconvene at 6 o'clock for the city council.